This video is sponsored by Aura. Aura is a peaceful, all-in-one wellness app that gently adapts to you, learning what helps you unwind and tailoring your journey from the very first listen. I've curated a 30-track sleep collection just for us, a blend of soft meditations, dreamy music, and calming stories I personally use to ease into sleep. Just search for WhispersRed Sleep inside the app. It's all part of our 30-day wind-down challenge. Whether you need restful sounds, breathing exercises, cognitive tools, or mindful coaching, Aura weaves it all together in one beautifully soothing space. To join me on the challenge and explore the app for free, just click the link in the description below, and the first 500 people get 25% off. Hello everyone, this is Emma. Hope you're doing really well. Welcome to a Q&A video. It's been a very long time. I popped a request on Instagram, Facebook, and on the YouTube community post tab thing, and there were lots of amazing questions, so thank you very much. I said don't hold back, and I'm really grateful for these questions. I think this is the best one yet. There's some really good ones. So just check my phone's on silent, and I'll go to the channel first. So there were some questions that were very similar, so I'll try and answer those all together, and then posts. Here we go. Where is it? 146 on the YouTube tab, and I think around 60 or something on Instagram and Facebook. We could be here a while. And they're always long videos anyway. But some of them are just really nice comments. So, where do I begin? Should we start with something really easy? Okay, so if there's a fade, a crossfade, a cut, that's because I'm just flicking through the questions and trying to find the right one to answer, or I have really cringed myself out in the edit and I'm dropping it. That's highly likely. Okay, this is a really easy question, a nice one to start us off, and it's very kind. Thank you very much. So Jessica Walton, 2443, said, what skincare and makeup do you use on your skin? It's glowing, thank you. Well, I've been using the oil combination that I made. I made it on a video. It's castor oil, moringa oil, and some jojoba sometimes, and frankincense and blue lotus oil. So I make that. I also try to drink enough and have plenty of fluids, trying to get good nutrition. Over the last about 6 months I've been doing spirulina every day. I do all kinds of things. I go through phases of healthy things, but it's important to look after the inside. And every morning I start the day with lemon juice, fresh lemon juice in boiled water, just to have a clear out, which I think is good. Had a few years of quite bad health with stress and all sorts, so I've had to turn things around and take care of myself. So hopefully it's showing, thank you. I feel alright, I feel good now. What's your, so Yule85 said, what's your favourite comfort food, vegan comfort food, sorry, and do you have any advice on how to become vegan for people who struggle with change? Well, just become vegan if you want to, first of all. And if you struggle with change, then just take it easy, go slowly, don't rush into anything, and do your research and learn what nutrition you need and all of that stuff, and just take your time. But don't feel pressured into it, it's your choice. And what's your favourite vegan comfort food? Oh, it would have to be something that is from my childhood, and that would be beans on toast. It's not very imaginative, but comfort food would be beans on toast, sausage and mash, or tofu sausage and mash with gravy. And what else? Just carby sort of food is comfort food for me. Loads of carbs. Love mash. Okay. Spearson823. And I still remember your face. I'll never forget it. And I've still got the tea. Would you ever consider doing another live ASMR tour? We miss you in San Francisco. I promise to bring more samovar tea. Because the samovar tea comes in the most beautiful crinkly bag. It's stunning, and it's the best sound. So I couldn't use the tea. I had to keep it for the sound. And the bag is the right state now. It's all crinkly. Yeah, of course I would. I'd love to do some more live ASMR. Everything changed during COVID. The whole world changed, and I feel like nothing's gone back to how it was. So I was kind of stopped in my tracks. I had loads of plans, and yeah, haven't done one in a long time. So I was in Australia doing the Gold Coast Film Festival, and the most amazing show. It was fantastic, and it was right before the lockdowns. In fact, didn't it start with was it Tom Hanks was on the Gold Coast and he had it, and we were there at that time, so it was all kicking off as we were there. So we just about got the live event done, and the next day or the day after they closed down the venue, and I haven't done one since. I've done a little thing for Stylist magazine, a workshop, just with a small amount of people, but they weren't ASMR viewers, they were stylist readers, and they were coming along to learn about ASMR. They just booked me for that one session, but I'd love to do a proper one, like with, viewers. Sapphire 6534 said, what's the most important thing that making ASMR videos has taught you about yourself? So that would have to be learning about being a sensitive person and being a highly sensitive personality and highly sensory. I've learned so much about that, just and how to handle it and accept it and understand, and just from being in the ASMR world and learning about what ASMR is and the types of people that experience it. Also, I've learned a lot about sound and sound healing, sound therapy, because it's all related. It's been very interesting. But yeah, about myself is that personally I've learned about being a highly sensitive person and what that means, and how extrovert and how introvert I am, and understanding my own mental health, really. switch things. Puzzle Vocaloid Love, nice name, said, do you have a favourite plant? I think it would have to be the cheese plant because it looks 70s and it's kind of cool. So Julia Orr said, hi Emma, I remember seeing you draw my life video years ago and being shocked by how interesting and surprising your life has been. Yeah. Do you have any advice on how to be more resilient or even daring sometimes? Well, if I made another one of the things that have happened since then, you'd be even more shocked. I'm looking forward to a quiet life. I can see 50 on the horizon, and I'm thinking that 50 onwards is going to be nice and calm. I'm ready for it. I've been watching your channel since I was 13. I'm now 20, and you have honestly given me so much comfort through the years. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks, Julia. Isn't it amazing that you were 13 and now you're 20 and so much has happened in those years? You've grown so much and we've known each other all that time. Advice on how to be more resilient or even daring. Well, I presume that you are quite a deep thinker and a sensitive person. To be resilient is something that you learn along life's challenges. So don't be afraid to go through things rather than avoid them, because on the other side is a stronger person and someone who's learnt to be more resilient because of those things. Be determined. I think determination and stubbornness is a part of it. So with every difficult situation, look at what you would like to achieve from that situation. Try and view it from a bird's eye view, from a back, and just have a look around and think, okay, what's the purpose of this situation? Why was it presented to me? What is it I'm supposed to be learning from this situation? Because it's here for a reason, it must be. And just do your best to make your way through it, and don't lose your kindness through the situation, and you'll feel proud of yourself and love yourself more afterwards. I think that would be my answer. And daring, that refers to the stubbornness and determination and your bravery as well. So sometimes you've got to take risks, because what's that saying? I don't know what the actual saying is, but it's along the lines of if you've never loved at all, then you don't know the joy of love, but you'll never experience the loss. So if you never love anyone, then at least you'll never experience the loss, but you'll never experience the joy too. So if things go wrong, then things go wrong, but they might just go right, and then you'll experience the joy and learn to be more resilient. So just go for it and take your time. Have a good think first. If something comes along and it's out of your control, then like I say, step back, have a look, send to yourself as much as you can and go, okay, I'm going to make it through this. I can make it through this, and I will be intact at the other side, and I'm going to follow my heart and make sure that I make the right decisions all the way through, or at least the best decisions I can in that moment. And then when I get to the end, at least I know I did my best. Jean Ed 7603 said, what are your absolute favourite essential oils, and do you like woodsy or floral? I definitely like woodsy because I'm an earthy lady. Favourite essential oils would be ylang ylang, patchouli, that's floral, sandalwood, and vetiver, all those really deep ones, of frankincense. Lovely. Tiff for Ninicole 312 said, do you feel like you achieved all that you set out to do? And what is your next goal for your channel and personal life? Personal life is to have things organised and be living in peace and calm and no drama. That would be lovely. For the channel, so for my ASMR world, there's a lot to do. I've still got things on the list that have had to take a back seat over the last few years because I've been setting up the charity, and it's been incredibly stressful, and and it's taken longer than it should have taken, or that I expected it to take. So I've had to put things on the back burner. So yeah, I haven't achieved all that I set out to achieve at all. There's plenty to do. And I'm feeling at the moment quite frustrated because I would be doing all those things now if I could, and I'm being prevented. But that's okay, because I think there's a reason for it. And I think that the things that are happening now, I have to learn from, so that the things that are coming, I'll be able to deal with them a hell of a lot better, and I will be more successful at the things later because of this experience. So that helps build resilience as well. And on that subject, Ian Collins 7074 said, what is the best way to help your doggy rescue? What do they need the most? Cash donations, supplies, etc. Well, supplies-wise, it's difficult to get anything into Serbia without being charged imports, and also it's expensive to take things into Serbia, and we can actually buy everything we need in there. So it's always cash donations. But what we need money for the most is neutering and the feeding the street dogs. Well, actually, the three things that we do: the Spain Neuter campaign, feeding the street dogs, and and boarding the dogs that we have and that we are preparing for adoption. So we rehabilitate them from the streets, get them ready, and they're amazing and lead trained and just lovely and cuddly and obviously healthy, because they're always sick when we take them, or most of the time they are. Yes, and then get them ready for travel to the UK if they're adopted. So that all costs, as you can imagine, and the more income we have, the more work we can do. Everyone involved is a volunteer, so everything goes straight to the dogs. And if you look in the description, there's a link to the charity's website, and there's a clear route to the donations there. So if you are interested in supporting, then you make my day, because there's never enough money. Okay. Amanda Everland said, hello. Did your kids tell their teachers and school friends what you do for a living? I know they're a bit older now, but when they were younger, how would they explain what you do? Kids have the best way of sharing. The thing that jumps out to me is that you say it's for a living, and I was thinking just yesterday actually that how times have changed, because when we started making whisper videos and ASMR videos, it was never on the radar to be earning money for it. And I didn't monetize my channel for a whole year, even longer, and I didn't even know you could monetize it to start with. People don't know how you monetize on YouTube. So it wasn't a thing, and then it became like really weird to be earning from something that you enjoyed so much, that you were contributing to a community and connecting with people. It was weird that you could earn through that, and it was really frowned upon as well. So no one spoke about earning anything, and the first time someone monetized something, they got really heavily criticized for it. And then fast forward a few years, and the term influencer is created, and then it's just a job for so many people. It's really bizarre. So I'm still in the old mindset a little bit, even though I do sponsorships and stuff. I still have to think, well, that's like the last year and the year before, it was all to start the charity. I had to feel like I was doing something good with it, as well as feeding myself. Like, I had to have a purpose. But your actual question was about the kids, and they've done really well through school. They were very young when I started ASMR, and it was very weird. Obviously, at the time, no one knew I was doing it until I went on the TV. Even my family didn't know. And so they had a bit of criticism to start with. The kids would whisper in their ear and, take the mick, as we say over here. But they didn't care. And then later, as the channel became more popular, as ASMR became more popular, as it became more of a thing, then it was cool to be a YouTuber. So their friends would respect them because their mum was a YouTuber, not because they were doing ASMR. So that was quite good. And now some of their teachers even watch this channel. So that's really nice. So Parents' Evening is really nice. Yeah, they've been fine about it. I dropped Bo off at school. Actually, Mia's best friend, they met because he found out that her mum, was WhispersRed, and he wrote me a little letter and saying that he'd been watching the videos and it helped him to fall asleep and feel less anxious. And he gave it to Mia to give to me, and they became friends because of that. And to this day, Nathan is Mia's best friend, and he's lovely. And I dropped Bo off at school a couple of months ago, and he got out of the car, and one of his friends just ran up to the car and went, "Yeah, WhispersRed." It was really sweet. So they're really nice, and obviously some kids say weird things, but they don't care, and those instances are few and far between these days. The most thing that happened was parents with me. When I first started, they were really judgmental, and they were quite nasty as well. But I don't see any of them anymore, and they don't say anything anymore. I've heard a few things, but I'm not interested. Okay, Courtney Lewis 297 said, if you could give your younger self some advice, what would it be? Okay, well, I presume maybe, am I just assuming this, but maybe you're younger, but I know there'll be younger people watching. Be brave. I would look at myself and say, be brave. Get rid of that feeling that other people are better than you, that everyone around you deserves more. You are worthy, I would say that. I would make myself look at myself in the mirror and just say, look at how beautiful you are. I would say that, because when you look at pictures of yourself when you were younger and you think, oh, I looked all right, but I remember that day I felt awful and I thought that I was this or that. Had very low self-esteem when I was younger, and was very self-critical, had low self-worth, and it led to a whole host of catastrophe, should we say. And it's pointless, because all those things are just non-existent. They're not reality, but we convince ourselves that they are. So I'd say be brave, be strong, know how beautiful you are, know how precious you are, and know how valuable you are, and find all of the materials that you can read about self-worth and understand how important it is that you value yourself and understand that you have a place and you're here for a reason. Doesn't matter what that is, you don't even need to know, but you're here, and that's the most important thing. You wouldn't be here if you weren't important. So carry on, do your thing, smile at yourself in the mirror, tell yourself that you're beautiful every day, and do your best. Okay? Merit Excel 2614 said, what useless superpower would you like to have? So you're asking the wrong person, because I'm a very practical lady. And I would think that if I had a superpower, I wouldn't go wasting it on something that's useless. I'd be thinking of something really useful, like invisibility or something like that, because, you could, you could clean up, couldn't you? You could do loads of great things for the world, but you could also make a fortune as you were doing it. So it'd have to be, useless superpower. Useless. I bet you're screaming at me now with all these ideas, and I can't think of any useless ones. Useless. See, they've all got a use. How can they be useless? I can think of things like I could magically put my shoes on, but that's useful. You don't have to put your shoes on yourself. Useless. I'll be back. Okay, I've popped into ChatGPT, named 5 useless superpowers, and I've got to pick one of them. So there are, a terrible imagination, because I'm so practical. Number 1, instant toast detection. Number 2, perfect sock matching. 3, fluency in ancient fax machine language. 4 is invisibility to ducks. 5, slightly warmer left hand. Instant toast detection. It says here, you can always tell when a piece of toast has popped up, no matter where it is in the world. That would drive me bonkers, wouldn't it, you? Because you'd be constantly hearing pops and, it's too noisy. Number 3, ancient fax machine language. Fax machines were around when I was younger, so does that mean I'm ancient? ChatGPT. I think I'd go for number 5, the slightly warmer left hand. So I'm going to choose that one. Okay? Good question. How tall are you? Says GNED7603. I'm 5'4", and when people meet me, they always say, not always, but a lot of times, they say, I thought you'd be taller. Which I think is funny. I must be short. And in fact, most of the ASMR artists I've met are actually taller than me. Trekkie, spelt Treceh, Trekkie, says, do you have a sizable prop room you use between so many different roleplay concepts? How big is your collection at this point in your ASMR career? That's a very good question. And I have an office room that I have to rent because I've got so much stuff, and I'd say probably 50% of it I'm never going to use again. For some reason it's still in there, and I'm paying for this room, and I need to go in there and go through everything and get rid of lots of stuff. So now I'm feeling a bit anxious because I know I've got to do it and I don't have time. It's ridiculous. There's so much stuff in there, and there's even stuff in there for videos that I never made. There's a box of stuff in there that I still haven't done anything with. But there's obviously things in there that are nice and I want to keep them. So I need to deal with that sometime this year, hopefully. But yeah, it's a massive collection at this point and there's no need for it. And I still buy things for videos. How do you come up with new ideas for triggers, and what's been the most difficult sound to capture so far? So I think there aren't many triggers, to be honest. I think there are just a few triggers. I know people call different items triggers, but I would say that those items create the same trigger. So tapping is a trigger. Nature is a trigger, and lots of things sound like that. So new sounds, new items. Well, I like to go into different places like, over here we have TK Maxx, we have B&M Bargains, or BM stores, and Poundland. What's the other ones? There are loads of them. And I like to go into those places and see what's there and have a listen to things. So, I look like an idiot going around the aisles, going like this on things and listening to stuff. But that's how to find new triggers, new sounds. Euphorina said, "How is Trevor doing? Did you instantly know that you wanted to adopt him? What was it about this particular dog that made you decide to give him a forever home?" So, first of all, I want to bring them all home, as you can imagine, because they're all lovely, all of them. Even if they're not at first, then once they settle in, you see the personality come out, and they're just amazing. And even if they're not, it's never their fault. So you just love them anyway. I want to take them all home, but Trevor, I found him myself, and it took a while to grab him, basically, because he was hiding under an engine, and I had to crawl under to pull him out because he just wouldn't come out. He was too scared, and I knew that he was going to run into the road at some point and get injured or something worse. So I crawled under, and there was this moment where he was about to bolt the other direction, or the other side of the engine. It was like a diesel engine in the middle of a field with a phone mast on it. And so I'm crawled under, and there were just ticks everywhere. It was awful, and mosquitoes. And I slowly moved my hand out to him like this, and he was responding to my high-pitched voice. And after he looked like he was going to bolt, and then he stopped, and then he put his paw on my hand and was looking right at me, and then I just knew, you're coming out with me, and pulled his body towards me and grabbed him. And as soon as I held him, he was just so limp in my arms because he was dehydrated, he was hot, he was absolutely covered in ticks. I've never seen anything like it. His whole body was just like covered in baked beans, bum 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 bum, as I held him, and I was holding him in my arms here, and he had them all down his neck, and I had a vest on. I didn't even have a long sleeve top on, so thankfully I wasn't bitten. But I lifted his head, and there was one huge tick crawling across my arm there. So flicked it off and got rid of them all. But yeah, he just had to come with me. He was, from day one, he knew he was mine and I was his, so it was a no-brainer. But I just want to bring them all. There's one coming over that we're going to foster. She's called Olive, and she's so beautiful. She's little, and she's got Chihuahua in her, but she's black and white, and she's so frightened. She came from a big government shelter, big and noisy, underfunded, hell basically, and we pulled her out and two other, one of them didn't make it, the other one did, that's Mabel, and she's got a home to go to in the UK, and Olive hasn't got a home yet, but she's very nervous, and I held her last time I was there just a few weeks ago, and she's overwhelmed with just being held. She's yeah, it's horrible to see. She just needs somewhere really calm and quiet with not many people, just a nice lap and a quiet corner to sleep in, and she will come out of herself. I know she will, because she's so sweet. You know, we haven't got room because we've got 5 cats and 3 dogs already, and even that's not the best environment for her because she needs just one-to-one. But it's still better than where she is, because there are so many dogs where she is now. She's in a lovely place now, and we're paying for her to be cared for really well. But she does need more one-to-one than she's able to get now, so she'll be on my lap hopefully when I'm working and stuff. And if anybody wants to check out Olive on the website and you're in the UK, I'd love to take her other places, but we don't yet have the logistics, is that the right word, to adopt out to other countries, sorry. But we have a clear route out to the UK, so if you want to go on to whispers.org/adopt and have a look for Olive, she's nice. And yeah, how's Trevor adjusting to life in the UK? He's doing great. He's fantastic. He's he's on the sofa, legs up. And he's off lead as well, and when we go to the woods he's off lead, so that's fantastic, but he's still got his tracker on. Love your videos. Do you still rescue dogs? Yes. Right, let me go through some questions about Whispers. So when I first started, I bought a shelter, a property, with my ASMR savings. I was going to think about one day opening an ASMR retreat, and I ended up opening a dog sanctuary instead, but with my own money, and renovating it and all that stuff. And I've ended up having to go to court because the people that were living there and managing the place had a scam the whole time to take the place from me. So I went down there last April and they blocked me out of the property, which is mine and it's in my name. It's a long story, but I've just been to court. I went to court last year in October, and I learnt just a couple of weeks ago that we won the case. We won it just before Christmas, but they put in an appeal, a nonsense appeal, just to delay things, and that was thrown out, and so we've won the first case, and there's another case to go to get them out. It's a long story, but the charity's not affected, nor are the facilities and things that the charity paid for. It's just my personal investment in the place, and I'm going to get it all back and sort it all out, and then I'll tell you all about it, because it's been horrific and traumatic. Jacob Riley 5407 said, do you or have you ever smoked, or would you ever do a smoking video? I'd never do a smoking video. Years ago in my 20s, I used to have those thin, what they called, I think they were called Fines, and they were from France, and they were menthol, really skinny cigarettes, and I'd probably have one or two of those when I was out drinking my JD and Coke on a night out, and I thought I looked amazing with those cigarettes, and I was a terrible smoker. I didn't like it. Always made me dizzy, and I didn't do it for very long. I was what you would call a lightweight. Megan Hills Shime 8372. I may just cut this out, or let me just say it. So it says, what's one thing you've never told the internet? Of course, whatever you're comfortable with telling, and interesting fact about you that we may not know. So when early on in my ASMR life, I had the newspaper called the Daily Mail, which is a UK newspaper. In fact, it's probably elsewhere too, so you'll know it. But they came round to do a centre page spread, sort of an interview. It was quite big, with pictures and all that. And the lady came round to do the interview, and I was told at the time, you can't wear anything black, you have to wear a skirt. It was all very weird. They have certain rules, and it was in my early days then, and I just thought I had to do as I was told. Now I'd just say to them no, and I'd probably wear everything that they tell me not to wear, and they'd have to just deal with it. But yeah, I had my skirt on and my shirt and everything, and the first question that they always ask, like it's the most important question, is how old are you? First of all, they wanted my surname, and none of us had ever given out our surnames before. So I had to give out my surname, and I thought that's not very safe to tell people what your name is online. That's scary. And then she said, how old are you? And I thought, I can't tell her my real age, because if I do that, then I'm giving away my personal details. So I told her that my birthday was 2 years younger than it is, 2 years earlier. No, 2 years later than it actually is. And so that was published in the newspaper. And then ever since then, and all over online, my birthday is 2 years behind, right? So my YouTube age is 2 years younger than my actual age. So I'll let you work that out. But so when I was 40, everyone was wishing me happy 40th. I was already 40. And I can't change it, and I don't want to change it either, because it's funny. But at the time I was thinking that I needed to be safe and all that, and now I think it would be fine. I didn't really know. And whenever I tell people about it, because I tell everyone, I was telling my friend a few years ago, and I never forget his reaction when he just burst out laughing, and he said, why did you make yourself only 2 years younger? Why you could have given yourself, a lot younger age, and it would have been fine. But yeah, I wasn't trying to make myself look younger. I was doing it for security. But yeah, he was right. I should have just gone for it. If I was going to do it, I should have just done it properly. Oh dear. Anyway, moving on. So that's our secret. Freya Moon 7032 mentioned the Draw My Life Again, and how did you manage to keep going under such difficult circumstances, and how did you not give up, and what advice do you have for people going through hardship? I think that's the same advice I would give from before. is to step back and see it from a wider view and just do your best to try and find the reason why you might be going through this situation, and you just have to get through it. You have to, because on the other side is something greater than what was before. You'll be a stronger person. So whatever, if you are going through something now, it will be all right, and you can deal with it. Just go for it. It'll be all right. And, you know, I look back now on things that happened last year, and I think, wow, if I hadn't been through the things I'd been through before, years before, I wouldn't be able to deal with this that I'm going through now. And that's not to say that I'm inviting more drama, more crazy stuff to deal with. I'm actually looking at ways to avoid it now. And it's to do with self-worth, it's to do with boundaries, and it's to do with confidence, and just becoming the woman I'm supposed to be, really, and allowing that to happen, so that these things don't happen again. Stop putting other people first. It's all right to be kind and generous and, caring and compassionate and empathic and all those things, but you have to understand that you're valuable too, and your life is important too, because what happens with me is I end up being a doormat for other people and putting myself last. It's not going to happen again. Okay, let's look at Instagram. Okay, Rondione said, "Is red your natural hair colour? It's so perfect on you. Thank you very much for saying so." No, it's not. Well, it is, but it's not. So my natural hair colour is like a brownie red, much darker than this here. And but I've been, I thought, if you're going to be one, you can't be both. Just decide which one you're going to be. And when I first went red, I was into Tori Amos, you see, and I was dealing with like identity issues at school, as many teenagers do. And someone came up to me, a girl that I was friends with at the time, really nice girl, and she said, "You look like Tori Amos." And I thought, oh, and yeah, I've been a redhead more or less ever since. Apart from the odd time, when I was pregnant and things like that. I might be Whispers Grey one day. I've got about 50% grey on the top there, and I'd actually like to grow it out to see what it looks like and then just quickly cover it up again. Because when I see women with silver hair or like a mixture, I just think it looks so nice on them. I want to see if I would look good like that, but I'm not ready to give up the red just yet. Innis Spa, "I'm so curious about your editing sound. You have the most, it's very nice of you to say, outrageously amazing sound. Thank you. Could you walk us through what you do behind the scenes to get the sound so amazing? Thank you. Yeah, this is really cool. I could go on about this for ages, but I know that half people watching, or most of the people watching, will be like, come on, move to the next question. So camera, Canon EOS R is my current camera, but it's on its last legs. So I think I'll move back to a Panasonic. I know this is about sound, but I'll tell you everything. The sound recorder I use is a MixPre 6. Now, I know that quite a few ASMR people use these fancy boards, mixing boards, and some use the Zoom recorders that we all used to use, different things. But I like the MixPre 6 because it's durable. The sound card in it is beautiful, super quiet, and it's nice and heavy. I can move it around anywhere I'm filming, and it's easy to use once you get the hang of it. but it works perfectly with the mics I use. So I use 2 Rode NT1 mics. They're not the most expensive or flashy mics. There are probably mics, I don't know, maybe the mics that are better, but they have very, very minimal self-noise, lower self-noise than any others I've found. And just for me personally, I think I like the sound of my voice in them. They're not too toppy, tinny, nice, a whole bassy sound for me. And they're good at recording individual sounds and my voice. So they're a good all-rounder, and they're not the most expensive mics. So if it goes, then it's not the end of the world to have to replace it. And the fluffy windy muffs fit nicely on the top. But specifically in this space that I record in, so I'm in my shed at the end of the garden, the tingle shed, and it's double walled, if that's the right term. So it's a room inside a room with soundproofing plasterboard, rubber and plaster, and then carpet to dampen the sound. And on the ceiling I've got some foam panels on the ceiling, and then all around the walls, because there is like there's a metally taste in the sound if I don't dampen the room even more. So I can't really describe it in any other way, but it tastes like metal when I'm editing. So I know something is a tingly sound if it gives me, I get a warm feeling, physical feeling in my chest and solar plexus area, because it's unusual for ASM artists to give themselves tingles. I know it's possible, but if I record a sound, I'm not going to know if it's tingly or not to others unless I listen to other signals from my body, because the tingles, sometimes the tingles happen, don't get me wrong, but when it's a sound I've made, it doesn't always happen. So what happens is I get this warm feeling, and I can describe it the same as, do you remember when you were little, if you ever made a den? We used to make dens in the woods in the park because we were the generation that would just play out all day, and our parents didn't know where we were. So we would make dens in the woods with branches and stuff. And when I went inside, I'd get this like I'm in a den feeling, like it's cool. Hopefully you know what I'm talking about. And if I get that feeling from a sound that I've made, I know it's going to give people tingles. A bit weird, but it's true. And I taste sounds as well. That's synesthesia. So I taste the sounds, and if a sound is too tinny or echoey, or it's got some kind of a high pitch that's not very nice, it tastes like metal. So I would never release anything that tastes like metal or doesn't give me the den feeling. And I have curtains. I've got curtain rails all around the walls, and different colour curtains just hanging all around, and I move them around when I want different colour backgrounds and all that. But it keeps the sound damp. I've also got 2 sound panels. They're like petition walls for exhibitions, that kind of thing, but they're thick, and they are the most sound insulating ones. And I've got those either side of me, in between, and either side of the sort of mic area. So it's probably a bit overkill, but yeah, like my dad always used to say, if a job's worth doing, then do it properly. So I overdo things a lot. So there you go. That's the sound setup. My headphones I've been using these for many, many years, and they're the same headphones, Beyerdynamic. It's I don't know what the model is, I've forgotten the model of them. 80 ohm, DT250. So when I edit, the sound is a lot clearer and precise in these headphones. But when I listen back on AirPods, everything's way too quiet. So I have to make sure that I edit with these first and then adjust the sound for the AirPods so that it's not too quiet. And there we go. And I edit with Final Cut Pro, and I edit the sound first in Adobe Audition, and I've got some Waves plugins just for EQ, and all I do is a low pass filter and a high pass filter to chop out the low end, which is the motorway sounds, because there's a really busy road about a couple of miles away, so there's just a real faint low rumble which you could barely hear, to be honest, unless you had the Beyerdynamics on and the sound turned up. So I cut those out and chop off a little bit at the top, just in case, and then I keep everything raw and fresh. I don't add any effects onto the voice or anything like that. I like to keep it real because that's the best ASMR, and I'm glad as well that I wasn't trained as a sound engineer, because whenever I've worked with sound engineers, they process the sound, and they will add all kinds of different processing onto it, like sound noise reduction and all that kind of thing, and it affects the voice. For me, it takes the humanity out of the voice. It's too clean for me. Just for ASMR, obviously it works well on film and TV and adverts and the books and everything else, but just for ASMR, it takes out the mother sound, and I like to keep everything in, so you get a whole sound. And that's why I use words like mother, because I never went to sound engineering college. I like it that way. Okay. So I've had quite a few comments about this ring lately in the videos and also here. It says, it says here, can you show your favourite ring? And I know there's another comment about this ring. Maybe it's on a different post actually. I think so. And there's been some on the videos. So this ring is my Nana Smith's ring, who passed away a long time ago. This was hers, and my Auntie Lorraine gave it to me, and Auntie Lorraine passed away a couple of weeks ago, so I'm wearing this to just have a hug from Auntie Lorraine. It's been a really horrible time, and it was unexpected. Auntie Lorraine was an amazing auntie, and her and I were close, especially when I was younger. And she is Nicole's mum. So Nicole's very young to be losing her mum, and so are her two sisters, Jane and Katie. So it's been bad news, and that's my dad's sister, the coolest auntie and the funnest and just hilarious and just kind and loving, really loving. I'll never forget hugging her every time I say goodbye, and just her saying in my ear, "I love you," and the tone of her voice when she would say it. I'll never forget that. So yeah, I'm really, really gonna miss her. and she gave me this, and this was Nana Smith's, and I loved Nana Smith's, so I'm keeping them close to me. She used to take me to the shops when I was little. If I stayed over at hers, she'd take me to. Do you remember? Some people watching this will remember Tammy Girl, the fashion shop for girls. Tammy Girl, it was called, and I remember going in there with her, and she said, "You can have anything you want." And I was really like, "Wow, I can have anything I want," because that never happened. And I remember buying a black jumper with a yellow pattern on it, all over, and wings, and a skirt, a mini skirt. And then we went back to hers, and she would let me try on makeup. She'd do my face, and I had short hair, and I always wanted long hair, so she would put a tea towel on my head and tie it on to my head with a headband, and the tea towel would drape down the back, and I would do this and feel like I had long hair, and then she'd take pictures of me, and I'd sit there like this with her bangles on and stuff. So I don't know where that picture is, and I just maybe it's in an album somewhere. I'm gonna have to find it. But she was really funny, Auntie Lorraine, and yeah, we'll all miss her so much. And I'm thinking of my cousins all day, every day, because they're really going through it now. So yeah, say a little prayer for Auntie Lorraine. So Tom in between, and Tom supports the charity. Thank you very much, Tom. And I always see your comments, and of course you've donated as well, and I'm so grateful for that. He said, can you tell us about your first dog? So a dog that I remember from when I was very little was Heidi. Heidi was a black and white sort of collie. I think she was a collie, and there's a picture of me with holding her, and she was a little puppy, and she's just so beautiful. I remember her. And then cat, I remember a ginger cat that we had called, oh good God, Toffee. And Toffee went missing one day, and I was absolutely devastated, and very emotional and dramatic, and ran out into the street because all the kids were playing in the street, and I ran out to the street, and I remember standing in the middle of the street with my arms out like this, saying, "Has somebody found my cat?" Because I had a really strong northern accent. "Has somebody found my cat?" And no one could find Toffee. And then I went up to my bedroom to cry, and I remember my mum came up the stairs, and I was crying, and then as I was crying I looked into the corner, and the airing cupboard was in my bedroom, and the airing cupboard just slightly swung open, and there was Toffee asleep on the towels. And she'd been missing for ages, So yeah, I remember Toffee very well. There are lots of questions about moving through the world as a highly sensitive person during tough times, and I think I've answered most of that. But how do you personally center yourself and find peace? I think when you're going through tough situations, it's really important to, if you can, as much as you can, to give yourself time to yourself to process, time on your own, even if you're just watching a film or just in a bath or in a quiet room with no sound, or a little meditation going on your phone, ASMR video, anything, just something to, just some time on your own just to breathe, and then remind yourself nothing's happening to me right this second, nothing's happening right now. Just give yourself a break from it, because everything's overwhelming If you're a sensitive person, your days are full of high stimulation, full of racing thoughts, of overthinking, of noticing things, noticing details everywhere. And if you're going through a high stress situation, then it's going to be even more so, because you're dealing with the physical sensations of it all on top of everything else. And the only way out of it is through it sometimes. So you just, knowing that you have to go through it, just take your time and try and find as much time as you can just to be on your own and to focus. And don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask someone for a hug. Sometimes other people don't realise that all you need is a hug and to be told that everything's going to be all right. And so it's not a bad thing to say to the people around you, look, I would really appreciate it if you could just hug me when I look like I'm down, because I don't feel comfortable asking for it. And sometimes if you could just tell me everything's going to be all right, even if you don't know, just say it and give me a hug. I would really love that, because I might look like I'm calm, but inside I'm rushing around all over the place and my body's going through high stress. So just be honest with the people around you and tell them what you need, because we tend to keep everything in and appear like everything's fine. And when really it's not, and then it all builds up from there. So be kind to yourself. So Jennifer, where's Jennifer's comment? I've lost it. Jennifer always comments on the videos, and Denise as well. She comments on the videos, and she's left the same comment, differently worded, to Jennifer. So let's answer this one. So Denise's question is, hi Emma, are you recognised often when you're out and about? How do you handle it when someone is so excited to see you? I, for one, would be fangirling. That's really nice. And Jennifer said, you've been doing this for quite a while and gained many followers. Thank you, Jennifer. Do fans ever come running up to you while you're out and about? I'd prefer to say friends, or on vacation. Also, would you adopt me? Of course I would. Because you're good at growing vegetables as well, so you can help me in the greenhouse and the little vegetable patch that we've got. Of course I would. So it doesn't happen very often, but it does happen, and there are quite a few times when it's happened in really random places. There was one time that I always remember, and I was in Derbyshire, in Buxton, filming with Whispering Life, and we made a video together in a cottage. And she went home and I stayed there for a couple more days, and Nam came to stay with me. So we had a couple of days and we went to a crystal mine. It was really nice. It was where the Johnstone crystal is mined. And so we're in the middle of hills. There's no one around. There was one car in the car park. It was a weekday, really quiet. And you park right at the bottom of the hill, and then there's one path of pure steps all the way up to the top. It's really long, and by the time you get to the top you're exhausted and the wind is just in your face because it's so high up. And then you go into a little shop at the top of the hill, and then at the back of the shop you go through a door and you go into the hill where the mines are. It's really cool. And I've forgotten the name of it now. If I remember it, then I'll pop it in the description. There are loads of them around there as well anyway. But we're walking up this hill, and a lady comes down with a dog, a young lady with her dog, and So just, say hello as you do. That's what we do in England. Hi. All right. And especially someone with a dog. So I'm looking at her dog, and then I look at her and say hi, and she said, how did she say it? I can't remember the exact words now. If you're watching, hi. I can't remember what you said. But she said, "Are you WhispersRed?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "Oh, me and my mum watch your videos." And I think I'm really shocked now because there was no one around her in the middle of a hill, and this lovely lady comes down and says, "Are you WhispersRed?" And I was like, "See." And then another time, the most recent time, was it the most recent time? I think I was in a park in Kent called Lullingstone Park. It's beautiful. It's a huge country park, and I was there with my friend Sarah, and Trevor was practicing off lead. So she had her dog, and I had our three dogs, and Trevor was off lead, which is always a bit risky, but he's better at it now. But about halfway through the walk, and it was a long, long walk all the way around, he just bolted. He left. He got lost, and he must have seen something in the woods and just gone for it, and then just got lost. And at the time, I didn't have a tracker. I got one straight after that, and so I'm beside myself, obviously, looking for him, shouting his name, and then it felt like an eternity, but I finally got a phone call because his number was on his collar. My number, sorry. My phone number is on his collar and his name. And I answered the phone, and the person said, "Hello, is that someone called Trevor?" I said, No, Trevor's the dog. I said, "Have you got the dog?" He said, "Yeah, he's in the visitor centre. She was a lady that works at the visitor centre for the country park, and he was in the visitor centre." She said, "Can we give him biscuits? Is it all right if I give him a biscuit?" I said, "Yeah, give him a biscuit." So he's enjoying himself eating biscuits in the in the visitor centre of the Lullingstone Country Park, and I had to walk half an hour to go find him. So I'm walking down, and I'm trying to find the visitor centre because it's a weird way that I'm going, because I had to veer off the track. I'm walking through this field, and this lady came up to me. She had a pram. She said, "Are you looking for a dog?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Oh, I was with a lady who found your dog." She said he was running around this field just looking really scared. So she put him on a lead and took him into the visitor centre. And then I said, "Oh, thanks so much. That's great. I'm going down there now." And as I was walking away, she said, "I don't want to disturb you or anything, but are you WhispersRed?" I said, "Yeah, I am." And I was sweating. My hair was all over the place. I looked like a right state, and I'd been, screaming, had no voice left. And I said, "Yes, I am." She said, "Oh, me and my friend watch your videos." I said, "Oh, thanks. That's really nice of you." So it was really nice for her to say something. So yeah, it's really nice when people say hello, because everybody's really a nice person, and it's lovely, and it makes me feel good too. Sometimes if I'm on a tube or out, then someone might just be staring at me, and I think, oh, I don't know if they're staring at me because there's something wrong, or they know who I am, but most people don't know who I am because I'm not famous. It's just our little group. Okay, so I think I've kept you for a long time. The camera records for 30 minutes at a time, and I've pressed record again a few more times. So let's go through just a couple more. So another hour. Gem ST C said, what are you most proud of in your life? My children. Mallory Hines said, what is your favourite vegan dish and dessert? And what are some of your hobbies? So my favourite dish at the moment is edamame fettuccine. So nice. It's like an edamame pasta. And because I'm gluten-free for the most part, because I kind of had to. I was told years ago that I should be gluten-free, and I ignored it, and I've been bloated and getting headaches and stuff, and so I finally decided to do gluten-free, and it's changed my life basically. But I won't fuss if I'm out. It's just when I'm at home. So edamame fettuccine, and I make a pasta sauce with silken tofu and nutritional yeast, some garlic, salt, fried onions, and fried mushrooms, and then blend all that together with a little bit of pasta water, and make a lovely tofu sauce. That's really nice, and maybe some fried tofu pieces on the top, something like that, or some beans. That's a nice dish. And dessert would have to be chia pudding with coconut. That's gorgeous. Coconut milk mixed with chia seeds and some maple syrup and some vanilla essence. Superb pudding, and very good for you as well, apart from the sugar. Okay, yep. This is probably the most important question, and it's from Liam Piano P. And Liam says, where's our Barb's gone, and what's she been up to? Now, Barb's has been very busy, I understand. I did make some inquiries, I think it was a couple of years ago now, and I couldn't really get much of an answer, but I just know that she's really busy, because the answers weren't very specific, so she must be up to something, basically. And but then I saw her on TikTok, and she was on, there was this account, Baz and Dave, I think they're called, something like that, and she was singing, and I'm not going to say the words that she was singing, but she was rapping with these guys, and I was a bit surprised to see her on TikTok, to be honest, because I thought she'd want to keep incognito, but no, there she was. So I'm going to try and contact her again, because it would be really nice if she came back on the channel to do some videos. But yeah, I suppose I've been dealing with all kinds of stuff, and haven't really tried too hard to track her down. But if you do want to see her again, let me know, and I'll try even harder to bring her back to the channel. I'm sure she won't mind. She likes an opportunity to be seen. I'm sure she's got something going on that she wants to tell you all about as well. Never misses out on an opportunity. Hollydog001 said, did you enjoy the ASMR lounge with Kelly? Yes, I absolutely did. Kelly's wonderful. She's got really beautiful motherly energy. I feel so calm in her presence, so safe in her presence, and the way she delivers the sounds and the ASMR nurturing is just perfect for me, and I would recommend going to see Kelly at the Live Lounge in Southsea. Yes, I did enjoy ASMR Lounge with Kelly, and I'd like to go and see her again, because she's got a new room now and I still haven't been to visit, so I'd love to. And it'd be quite nice to do a video just laying down with her, because I sat up in the last one just because we had to position the equipment, and by the time we'd put everything in, I had to sit up to, well, it was just the logistics of it all. So I think with this one we'd be able to film the bed, so laying down. And Maya Sumi said, what advice can you give to another mum of two to prevail in the chaos and to be the best mum possible? Struggling with that, aren't we all? You know, it's not easy at all to be a parent. And we're all as well battling with how we were parented when we were young and trying to fit that into how to be a better parent this time and what we would change. And sometimes you end up creating other problems because you are neglecting something else or you're overdoing it somewhere. So there's a constant pull, if you like, to criticise yourself. I think the most important thing for me and my kids and our family is that we are communicative with each other. So even when they were little, I would chat with them and say, look, I'm sorry about what happened this morning. I was tired. I got irritated because you weren't coming out the door quick enough, or I didn't think that you were, and I should have been more organised. You could have been more organised, and should we try and be more organised tomorrow? And I'm just sorry that I lost it. We've all been through situations like that. It's just an example, but I just think communication is the key, and it teaches them to be open with you as well. Because one worry I've always had is that the kids would be going through something and they would feel like they couldn't talk to me about it, and they had to keep things from me, and that causes catastrophe later on because one thing can lead to another. And so I just wanted to make sure that they could always talk to me about things. So one way of doing that is to be open with them. So we would just talk about things, and I'd ask them how it made them feel, whether they thought I could do something in a better way, or, you know, that kind of thing, but no pressure to give answers. Just gentle conversations, and keep the communication open. But you shouldn't be too hard on yourself. You're going to make mistakes. We all make mistakes, but we're all doing our best. And just try and accept your children for who they are and the personality that they are, and treat them accordingly. So one thing that I remember from being raised is that I would hear from adults that they'd say, oh no, we have to treat our children all the same. But actually, you've got different personalities to deal with, so I can see how I treat my daughter differently from my son according to her needs, and his according to his needs. He can manage things that she can't, and vice versa. So, you know, they keep you on your toes, is what I'm saying. But just, you do your best, you don't beat yourself up about anything, and just relax. You're doing a great job. You can chat with them and say, look, how do you think that I could be a better mum? Because I want to be better. And do you think I might have made mistakes? Because I think I might have made mistakes. But, you know, if that's appropriate. And don't be afraid to discipline them either, because they respect boundaries. Children need boundaries. I have truly, Tiffany, I have two questions. One, how did you become so confident in making videos? And two, how many tattoos do you have? I've got two tattoos. I've got one here, which is angel wings and the kids' names on the back of my neck. I've not seen it in a long time. I hope it's still in good condition. And I've got one on my wrist, which I never ever show and never will, and it's a word. Hi Emma, my name is Noof, Noofs229. I'm a big fan, thank you. And I'm curious, if you hadn't chosen to work in ASMR, what profession do you think you would have pursued? I think that's a great question, by the way. I think that would be something to do with like a natural health practitioner or a holistic vet or something to do with healing. Maybe I would have still done sound healing and gone further into that, but something to do with, or some sort of relaxing treatment for people. I would have definitely gone into some kind of healing or doing things for people, helping people, that sort of thing, because I was already going down that road before I started ASMR. Anyway, I was thinking along those lines anyway. Okay, there are a couple of questions. There's one, do you ever get Botox? And there's another one, what do you think about getting fillers and what procedure would you never do? And if you were given one advice for your 20-year-old self, what would it be? And yeah, so Botox, I probably have that about twice a year, the tiniest bit, and I have it just, I think it's just under there, and I think around the top, because when I was younger I had Bell's palsy, and I have one side of my face is lower than the other, so this eyebrow sits lower, and I corrected that a little bit with the semi-permanent makeup, and I smile wider on one side than the other, and yeah, so just I try, and I get a bit paranoid about the extent of the asymmetry, so it's literally just to lift one side up more than the other. So because a friend years ago suggested that, and so I went and had it done, and the practitioner just put in a normal amount that she would for normal people. And my whole face was frozen. It was horrible. I hated it. I couldn't move at all. It was way too strong for me. So yeah, I just have the tiniest bit, and she doesn't even charge me the full amount because she uses just such a little amount. So I know it's really bad for me, but you know, I want to feel confident when I'm making videos, and I think the older I get, the more I can't speak anymore. The more the elasticity in my skin and my muscles, the more the asymmetry becomes, and the more you can see the difference. So I like to do something about it. And the fillers, I wouldn't get fillers. I do know people who've got them and they look really, really nice, but I'd be worried about the sort of wrinkly skin that might happen, and the loss of quality of the skin tone over time. I'm not quite sure about them, and I'm not sure if it would help my face at all, because it might make the lower side actually heavier and fall even lower, so I'm a bit scared to do it, so I probably would never do that. But yeah, nice facials and stuff like that. And I keep seeing all these blepharoplasty videos and brow lifts and all that, and yeah, it's definitely tempting, but it's expensive, so I won't be doing anything like that soon. But you know, maybe when I get to 50, I'll have a think about it. And one advice for your 20-year-old self: so when you're 20, you think by the time you're 30, you're going to have it all figured out. You've got to have your career, you've got to have your personality, your housing situation, everything all set by the time you're 30. And if you haven't done it, then you've failed, and it's too late and the world's over. But it really isn't. And actually, you can start in your 50s and your 60s. And so many people don't know what they want to do with their lives until much later. And they're, you know, not established for a long time. There really isn't that much pressure. It's all the pressure that you give yourself. So just relax. You've got plenty of time. Just to give yourself time to try out different careers and go travelling if you can. And you know, whatever if you're focused on achieving a certain thing, then just take your time with it, and just and you'll get there. It's fine, you've got loads of time, just relax. But when you're young, You think you've got to do it all yesterday, but you don't. How do you cope with this division and antagonism in this world, and it's growing, and that's Meerkat124. It's stressful, and it has been more stressful than it is now. And what I've realised is that if you're a sensitive person, you can be very easily manipulated by content that you see constantly, by the TV that you see constantly, and because you're empathic, you're drawn into it, and then it's in your mind all the time, and then you're dreaming about it, and you're not sleeping, and you become triggered by all these things. But when you switch it all off and you stop scrolling, you just look at your immediate vicinity, and that's what you've got to work with. So I think focusing on your immediate vicinity and your own community locally helps a lot, because since we've had the social media and the internet, we're exposed to everything that's going on in the world, but our brains can't take it, our hearts can't take it, our nervous systems can't take it. We're not designed to be invested in something that's going on in loads of countries around the world. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't care and that you shouldn't feel empathic, but you also have to survive, and you also have to be care for yourself so that you can be the best person that you can. And if all these situations are diminishing your person and your well-being, then how can you help any situations? So my advice would be, if you're particularly sensitive, if my advice is worth anything, is just focus on your immediate vicinity and your own community, and look at what you can do to help there. And if it's not too much stress for you, and just work on yourself, because if we all worked on ourselves, then all this stuff wouldn't be going on, would it? So working on yourself is extremely important, and then if you do it, then others do it too. And just be the best person that you can be, and don't allow yourself to be distracted too much and upset too much. It's very hard. I mean, look at me. I've spent all my savings on rescuing dogs in another country because I just couldn't take it anymore. But you can only do what you can do, and you just have to focus on what's in front of you. Okay, that's what I would say. And if anyone else has any other opinions or comments about that or advice, then please leave them in the comments, because I think that they would help others as well, because I might not be right. Okay, so there are 3 more questions here, and my voice is starting to go now, and the battery in the camera just died, so I changed it. So that's a sign that, Emma, you've been talking way too much. And I said before that I would just answer a few more and then finish, but this is real. A few more and I finish. If you make it to the end of this video, you can definitely have a medal. You deserve one. Okay. Selma Beganovic said, do you remember in that video where you drew your life and you told us about that one mum friend you had that you went on vacation with, and things got awkward between you when you told her you're doing ASMR videos? I was thinking about that when you were on the BBC, etc., and couldn't help but wonder, did she ever apologise now that the ASMR has become more mainstream? I somehow feel so bitter about that on your behalf. Thank you, that's really kind of you. And there's a reply underneath saying, yes, I've always wondered this too. So there was someone I was close friends with, and when I told them that I was doing ASMR videos, they said it was narcissistic and they didn't like it. They changed their view of me, I think, because I'd sort of stepped out of the box or the shape that they'd put me in. And that's just life. People do that, and it's not no one's fault. But that's what happened. And to be fair, I've not seen that person since, for them to even say anything. So if they did want to, then I've not seen them to do it. I've not heard from them. But I don't think they need to apologise anyway. These things just happen, don't they? And at the time it was weird. I understood that people thought that it was weird. I didn't think I was being a narcissist. But I thought that was a bit extreme. But I don't know, I suppose it was out of character that I was just being myself, and maybe it was me, maybe I wasn't being myself with the person I was with and the people I was around, and then suddenly I, brought out this side of myself that no one had seen, and perhaps it taught me a lesson to be myself a bit more and just be around people that are more my tribe, if you like. Because it's never just one person's fault. I think I was always a yes person, a doer for other people, always put other people first, valued other people above me, and a bit of a doormat for people, to be honest. And I allowed that too. So they would see me in a different way, and then for me to just jump out of that box and put myself on a worldwide platform, doing something that most people at the time perceived to be weird, then that would be a bit strange. I mean, if they were a true friend, they would have accepted it and been kind about it. So it goes both ways. But no apologies, but I don't need one. Anyway, I think as my nana, my great-grandma always used to say, it'll come out in the wash. Everything comes out in the wash, she used to say. Which it does. And Sarah Pick said 5 desert island albums and the best gig you've ever been to and why. Lots of love. Thank you, Sarah. And 5 desert island albums. I'll try and think of 5. One would be Tori Amos' Little Earthquakes, obviously. Joni Mitchell, Blue. Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder. George Harrison, Living in the Material World. And then I think, is that 4? 2, yep. 5th one, I'm not exactly sure, maybe Harvest, Neil Young. So it would be a very relaxing, soulful desert island, and all the animals would be chilling out to the music. And the favourite best gig, 2 stand out to me, or 3 stand out to me. The first one is the first gig I ever went to, and most of you won't have ever heard of this band before, and I don't even know, well, you could probably look them up on Google. I think they were a 70s band, I think. I was little, maybe about 7 or so, something like that. And my nana was on the local council for the local town. She was a councillor, an independent councillor, and she got tickets and we could go backstage. And so I went there with my mum and her. And I remember my nana was wearing green tights, and I'd never seen anyone wearing green tights before, and they really stood out to me. And she had green tights and a heel and sandals with a block heel. And it must have been early 80s, and the band was a band called Shawaddy Waddy. I can't even remember what their songs were, but it was like sort of 70s, kind of like Slade sort of music. And I just remember it was my first gig, and I'd never experienced that amount of sound all together, and when you're little it just goes right through your body. I just remember thinking, this is amazing. and how good they were, and yeah, it was great. So I'll never forget that. They're not my favourite band, obviously, but I'll never forget that gig. And then Pulp came to Morecambe Dome, where I went to school in 95 or 96, and I went to that gig and it was brilliant. It was so exciting that Pulp went to the Morecambe Dome. So did Blur as well, but I didn't get tickets to see that. They sold out. But yeah, I got Pulp tickets and another gig which I did. I'm not saying I enjoyed going to it. Well, I did enjoy going to it, but I was in it around the same time. I was in a band, and we got to support. Well, it was a band that was in my name, and they gave me a weird name, which I won't I'm not telling anyone. I had to give myself a stage name, and not a good name. And but I supported Jules Holland because he came for this festival thing in Morecambe, and my band was the supporting act. I don't think we were the immediate supporting act. I think we were on a bit earlier. I was only 18 at the time, and yeah, it was really good. And I remember going backstage, meeting Jules Holland, and it was really cool. So I'll never forget that one. Oh, I'd forgotten about this, and one of the most amazing gigs I ever went to was in the Dublin Castle in Camden. And it was Coldplay. It was before they got signed, and it's a really small venue, all standing up with a tiny, tiny stage. And they'd come from Exeter, which I think is where they're from, or they come from their local area, and they had their local sort of fans had travelled up to London to see them. And it was the night when their the A&R people from the record companies were going to see them. So it was probably the night they got signed as well. And Steve Lamacq, the DJ, was in the bar, and I was there. My boyfriend at the time was supporting them, and my boyfriend and his band were in the bar, really annoyed because they didn't have the same audience that Coldplay had, and they were just like, they're rubbish. But I was loving it, and I had this big coat on from a charity shop, and I saw Steve Lamacq, and I was singing at the time, and I'd recorded some songs, so I and on tape, and so I went to speak to Steve Lamacq because I saw him looking at me because he was looking at my coat, and so I went over and I said hello to him. Steve Lamacq is a radio, or is he still a Radio 1 DJ? And went to talk to him and said hello, and he said, I like your coat. And I said, oh, thanks. I said, and we were just chatting. I said, I'm a singer. Could I send you my songs? And he said, well, yeah, of course you can. He said, I get tapes all the time. I've got tapes all the way up my stairs. But here's my address. He gave me his home address. He wrote it on a piece of paper and told me to send my tape to him. And do you know what? I didn't send it because I didn't know if he would see it, and I thought that he wouldn't think it was any good, so I didn't send it. But the gig itself, I went into the back. Everyone was miserable at the bar. Went to the gig, and I was standing at the back, and I think I remember rightly that they played Yellow that night, and they played another one that was a cover, and I can't remember what it was, but Chris had long hair then, it was down to here, all curly. And the sound in there was amazing. It was so good. They were a really good band. But what was most electric was the crowd and the feeling being in the room. It was really, really good. And I just thought, this is so cool. Everybody was really loving it. Their fans were really into it. And then you could see who possibly the A&R people were, because they were just round the side going. like that, watching them. But yeah, that was amazing. I'll never forget that gig. So thanks for jogging my memory. I'd forgotten about that for a while. I sometimes think of it now and then. Okay, last one. This is a few questions from, these are quick fire ones from Melissa Watley. Which place do you enjoy visiting more, the beach or the mountains? I'd say the mountains. I do love a beach, but it's not good for the hair, you know. Mountains, nice fresh mountain air. But I do love the sea as well. But if I had to choose, then I'd probably say the mountains because it's better for my but I grew up by the sea. I love the sea, and I'd like to move back to the sea one day. What positive words would you describe your family, parents, siblings, Nam, and your children? I'd just say about everyone, I would just say love, because I've been open about all kinds of things in the past. There's no need to go back into it, but I would just say love. Everyone's done their best. Have you always had a great sense of humour? Thank you very much. I do like to laugh, and I do like to make fun of things, and everything's funny to me. Everything's funny. Funny story, when I was filming with Maria, there was a moment in that she definitely had to edit out, where we were both around the back of the camera because we were doing a sound healing session, on the person, on you. And I remember going around the back, and there was just this moment of realisation that we were both in our sort of, not character, but in ASMR mode, if you like. And we were both round the back, and I was on one side, she was on the other, and we were both doing all this to the back of the camera and the blanket and everything. And I remember I was deep in the mode, and then I just suddenly had this realisation that this is weird. Not weird, but it was just, what the hell's going on? We're both stroking a blanket. And I remember looking at her. I think she said something that sounded a bit like an innuendo. She definitely did, and I can't remember what it was, or even if it's still in the video, but it was something funny. And it just set me off, so I just started laughing, and then we had to take a moment to get back into ASMR mode. Are your friends also funny? Yes, hilarious, and we're always laughing. Always laughing. Everything's funny. Sometimes with my friend Sarah, we'll be out somewhere, and maybe at dinner or something, and I just look at her and I just can't stop laughing, and I don't know why, but it's like we both notice things, and yeah, everything's funny. Nam's hilarious with his friends. They've all got inside jokes, and yeah, I just love listening to them and watching them laugh, and laugh about things at school and teachers, and they've all got this shared experiences, so it's really fun. How do you organise your time? Sometimes really well and sometimes badly. The next question is, are you a list maker? Definitely, and that's how I organise my time, by making lists and just ticking things off, because there are some days when I feel like I've got so much to do and I'm only doing bits of everything and nothing gets finished, and I need to feel that completion. It's really important for me to feel like I've finished something, because there's always so much to do. Would you ever consider opening a Whispers sanctuary in the United States? And are you still interested in having an ASMR retreat? Well, I'd love to have Whispers sanctuaries everywhere, but my nerves couldn't take it. And I just wouldn't have the time, and the stress of being responsible for all of that just would tip me over the edge, because I've had obviously a few years of it, and just to do one thing is hard enough, and manage people and work with people and try and find people to help is really hard. and sometimes people want to help, and it's lovely, but it's for free, and so you can't expect them to do much because they've got work to do, and it's hard. And are you still interested in having an ASMR retreat? Oh, I'd love to. I feel like that dream is just so distant now, and maybe will never happen because I've gone and spent all my money on the property that's now being illegally occupied and most likely destroyed. And so by the time I get it back and get the facilities back, I need to figure out what's happening with it, whether to sell it and give the money to the charity or to try and recover what's there. And it's a long story, but I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to have a permanent retreat structure building. It might be that if I do retreats, then I've got to hire somewhere and go to different places. We'll see. And that's it. That's everything. And I've really thoroughly enjoyed sitting and talking with you. And it's a strange kind of video because I'm speaking quickly to get all the words in, and maybe a little bit loud at times. So if you prefer fast talking and maybe a little bit louder, like a podcast sort of a thing, then hopefully it was all right for you. But if not, then we'll slow it down in the next one. Do you ever travel to Weymouth? I want to go to Weymouth this year because I've never been, and I'd like to move to that area one day. Maybe, we'll see. Dorset, Dorchester, around there. I think that would be really nice. So I'd like to travel to Weymouth. So it's funny you should say that because I've been thinking of going. Thank you, Vanessa, and close that before I sit here for another hour. There's a little crinkle there. It's my vocal zone. I've got one in there. Lots of love. I've told you all my secrets. I trust they're safe with you. I'm not bothered. And lots of love. Have a great sleep tonight. Have a lovely rest of your week. Thank you if you've made it this far. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you soon at the next video. Lots of love. Thank you so much for all the lovely questions and for actually answering my query because my post, because I would have looked like a bit of an idiot if no one replied. So thanks ever so much, and for the great questions, for taking the time to say such nice things, and for saying such nice things under all the videos. I appreciate it so much. I feel very lucky to have this part of my life when other stuff's going on, and just life stuff and then crazy drama stuff. This space here and this camera and this channel and you guys and all the comments and everything, it's like it's a sanctuary for me, and I know it is for lots of other people too, and I'm just so grateful for it. And thank you for being kind to each other in the comments. That's a really lovely thing. And crack on. You're doing a great job. Keep doing your best. Keep shining high, and remember, if you are shining, that's when people want to dull out your shine. So if people are, have something to say, a bit of a gossip, then you must be doing something right. Okay? So keep going. Lots of love. Take care. Love you all. Sweet dreams. Good night.